I'm also curious how you choose those particular, people to run this. And did you have other people that you shot that didn't make it in the film?
We had a couple of folks we met in advance who kind of just didn't work out. Their ambitions sputtered, and we were really interested in people who were going to run for governor and who were competitive. And we went all in on Stephen and Robert and Ben, and we got lucky that they did phenomenally well. We also have some instincts that are honed from 2 decades of documentary work. And, it's not a formula. It's not science. It's kind of trusting your heart. And you get to meet people and talk to them. And, it was pretty apparent to us that Stephen, even if he didn't immediately present as a natural politician, because he was kind of quiet, he just had a confidence and, I don't know, a kind of X factor that you thought maybe, just maybe, this kid could do something special. Of course, because he's progressive, we thought he's going into this sea of predominantly white conservative Texans. They're not going to take to him. I think that was one of the great surprises, both for him and for Renee, is that these kids who come from very different backgrounds than most of these other kids, these young men of color, of progressive politics, actually find their own voice and also find a way to summon the better angels of this electorate and to build those bridges that I think we're all looking for today in American life. And that's watching those bridges get built. And it's not easy. And sometimes those bridges collapse, is a really, I think, is a fascinating process to watch, because I think we need to be reminded that it's possible, and we need to see people who can do it, and we need to see it done well. And sometimes we need to see it fail too. And I think that's what we got to see. Yeah.
Wow. That's, you brought up, Renee, phenomenal, person, in the film, also gave some wonderful speeches as well. And, the backlash that started to come from like the impeachment and, it was just, he handled it beautifully, in my opinion. And I thought it was interesting, the insight that he had at the end as well. He's a smart guy, because the insight he had at the end of, just that question that he posed, right? Of, should I have done some of these things that they did to me, right? To win this. And I wonder in retrospect, if he would do it again, if he would do that. I'm curious, did that conversation go any further behind the scenes, with y'all?
I don't think we've actually asked him that question. I feel like, all of their takeaways, as different as they are as humans, their takeaways from their Boy State experience were also varied. And, for Renee, I think that he's come out of this, I think, feeling like electoral politics is not for him. So I'm not sure he would do it again, really. I think he understands his power, his superpowers, of which there are many, can be put to better use in community activism. And that's what he's doing right now. And he believes that's his service to the country, and where he can be powerful. And I think that's right. And Stephen, meanwhile, doubled down on electoral politics and believes, and I do believe that his superpowers are good for that space too. He's just sort of naturally kind of returns to a kind of hope is where his sort of center of gravity is. And that does, even as much as he may or may not, get worked by the system and like fail, and right, he just has that capacity for standing back up, and that's what he wants to do with his life, So, and Robert, on the flip side, I think came into this program incredibly cynical about politics, having aged in the Senate and watched all these folks from in the adult state really go at each other and not get anything done on the deeply existential, on the crises that exist because they're so wrapped up in their partisanship. I think he came in with all of that baggage, and then he left with this real renewal, this reminder, because of people like Stephen and Renee, that politics at its best can bring out the best in people and unite people. And I think for him then to go out and, go to West Point and have that be his future for the foreseeable bunch of years, it's very exciting, to just see all these different ways that the program can really be effective in that learn by doing space they create. And then there's Ben, who's, I think, well, you can talk about Ben. I think that's the most kind of interesting.
He's interesting for sure. That guy is very interesting.
Yeah, he's not, unlike the other three, he doesn't really change in the experience. He sort of comes in as a master strategist, the Karl Rove of boys.
Yeah.
We see he plays politics like a professional, and he's good at it. Very smart kid, really confident. Really interesting personal story, which you learn about in the movie. And of course, he's Renee's opponent. But Ben,
nemesis.
That's right. Ben is, he's also a patriot though. And I think he's had a chance now. It's been 2 years since we went to Boise State with him, and he's been able to see the film and to meet Stephen and meet Renee and get to know them as people. And I said, he's had a chance to reflect on his own actions, which has forced a kind of moral reckoning with the dirty tricks that he was a practitioner of in order to win. And he sees in his own actions the national consequences of a corrosive politics that's based on personal attack. And where it leaves us is a kind of malnourished place. And he wants to see our country be healthy. And so I think he's disavowed his dirty tricks.
Wow.
And that's been really welcoming to see.